8.3 To achieve the ideal of oneness of God and humankind in love. 8.3.1 The ideal oneness of God and humankind in love is God's purpose of creation. God, the subject partner of true love, has established human beings as his partners of true love. God's idea of love is fulfilled only through human beings. God's purpose of creation is to bring about the world of the absolute ideal of God and human beings united in love. Human beings were therefore created as the object partner of God's highest and deepest love. Thus, among the creation, they are the only object partners who wear the substantial body of God. They are born as the visible body before the invisible God. When human beings reach perfection, they become God's temples. They are the visible, substantial beings in whom God can always enter and dwell in freedom and peace. God's overall ideal of absolute true love is realized and perfected through human beings in a vertical relationship between parents and children. Until now, no one has understood where God's love and humankind's love merge. Without knowing this, you cannot call God Father. That word has no relevance to God. Adam and Eve are God's bodies. Thus, when Adam and Eve reach perfection, God's internal nature is manifested in one's mind, and God's external form is manifested in woman's mind. The physical wedding ceremony of Adam and Eve is God's wedding ceremony. When you go to the spirit world, you will know it for sure. You will see that these incomprehensible theories are all correct. Hence, only when you occupy God's love is your ambition fully satisfied, and will you say, "Now I am content." When human beings are perfected, they attain divine nature and become perfect as the Heavenly Father is perfect, realizing a value comparable to God. God is the absolute being, but he cannot realize his ideal of true love by himself. It is because the ideal of love necessarily requires a partner. At this point, we should understand what the relationship between the beginning and completion of God's true love and humankind's true love is. What if God, without establishing human being as the absolute object partner of true love, had tried to achieve the beginning and completion of his true love in some other way? The true love ideals of God and human beings would have had different motivations, and the direction and purpose of the two forms of love would have differed.
God is the root of love, the root of life, the root of lineage, and the root of the kingdom of heaven on earth and kingdom of heaven in heaven. When Adam and Eve get married, God enters the hearts of Adam and Eve and realizes the oneness of love. God is the vertical true parent, and Adam and Eve are the horizontal true parents. Because we were born with the blood and flesh of these two sets of parents, our mind becomes the vertical self and our body becomes the horizontal self. Since the realm of the oneness of God and humankind in love is realized through this, those who complete the oneness of the mind and body in love become God's sons and daughters. When they become God's princes and princesses, they can have a parent-child relationship with God and inherit everything. When such children become husbands and wives and totally unite based on true love, they become the family that lives with God. And that family becomes a base of peace and ideal. A man and a woman, each being a half, becomes one and comes to complete the ideal love as God's partners. In other words, by perfecting human beings, as beings of infinite value through true love. God also perfects true love and completes the world of the ideal of creation where the eternal ideal love dwells. When we realize the oneness of mind and body and the oneness of husband and wife, we naturally return to God. The foundation of true love is supposed to be settled centering on God. This is the realm of perfection, unification, and oneness. This is the foundation of unification. In this case, God Himself also unifies. There is nothing that can separate the oneness of God and humankind in love. There is no force that can tear them apart. God, who wants perfection and completion through true love between the Creator and human beings, needed a condition of oneness with them. That is why God needed a commandment to give to the first human ancestors. Knowing that they are at a stage of immaturity, while they are growing up through the growth period, God set up a condition to bequeath to them the most precious true love. This was the commandment.